So we will start with the session, and ma'am, you can start with the presentation. So once again, I'm all the students who have joined just now. Today we are with the Design Village, and we will be discussing about the course, college, campus, international exchange programs, and they have some of the most amazing curated programs for you in which you can go for 15 days to 20 days, uh, totally workshop programs, which happens once a year in France, sometimes in Germany, in Japan. So they will guide you about everything. So ma'am, first 15 minutes is for you. You can take it and you can explain all the things, and then we will have question and answer sessions. And students, if you have any kind of question you want to ask, you are most welcome to ask any kind of question.
Thank you so much, Sumit, for this session. So first of all, I also have, we'll just give quick introductions about who we are here. Hello guys, I am Dr. Latika and I'm the Associate Dean for Outreach and Operations at the Design Village. I also have on this call with me Sneha Ma'am, who's who's the head of the department for fashion and communication. Hi Sneha.
Hi everyone.
Yes. So without taking the time, and I know the clock is ticking and, we would have to quickly run through the things. I'll just quickly run through the presentation. And then I think more than the presentation, because this is something which is so easily available on our website, on every place, that you can go back and see it also. But the more important part would be that how do we communicate about things? We'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. So first, we'll just start with the presentation. So the Design Village, and we actually say that it's life through design, or how the impact of life is through design. And at TDV, we believe that design is about altering conditions, changing behaviors, creating experiences, finding new meanings, building identities, and about evolution. And for that, what we really stand for our 4 pillars is that students should be aware, should be courageous, perseverant, and compassionate. These are the 4 pillars which are very important for any student to be a villager or to be a design villager. Because we actually believe that design education today is not about understanding technology and developing skills, but it is about critical thinking, communication, collaboration, cultural awareness, civic engagement, collective responsibility, and creative leadership. And for us at the Design Village, these are not just words. This is what we really stand for. This is what we really believe in. And connecting design with impact, as I mentioned, that the Design Village believes in impact through design and life through design. You study under the great mentors, if I may say that, allied practitioners, facilitators, and professors. And we at the Design Village believe that our teachers are not teachers, they are facilitators, they are co-learners. They learn, grow from you. It's a two-way communication where it's not just that one person is teaching you. It's about a connection. It is about somebody being there to help you understand another things. From our founder, architect Saurabh Gupta, to Mridu, to Professor Paul, Euron, Mudita, Leena ma'am, Vatsal ma'am, the list of faculty members is huge. And again, you could just go on the website and just see about them, because we just quickly run through it. But amongst the things that none of the faculty members is from lesser than a Domus Academy, Rhode Island School of Design, NIT NIFT, or even for architecture and interior from CEPT Ahmedabad. This just goes to show that how focused we are on what kind of facilitators we provide to our students, because they are going to enhance your learning experience. These are our academic partners. So our tie-up is with Boy Boucher for our summer and winter school. TU Delft, which is a Netherlands-based university, developed our curriculum, and Dutch almost brought design education into the world. So the curriculum is made by TU Delft. We have our international partner, which is L'École de Design in France, in Atlantic, and they are the partner for the summer for the international semester, and Sri Venkateshwar University, which provides a UGC recognized design degree. Some of the awards and recognitions that the Design Village has won. So we at the Design Village, actually believe in sustainability, and we really focus on the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, which is UN's SDG. And for that, we've converted our institute from a katha factory. So katha is something which is put in a pan, and the place where our institute is was a katha factory, and it was polluting and was closed down. Being from an architectural background, the founders and other people, it was very easy for us to build up a fancy looking green campus. But we ensured that, keeping again, as I mentioned, the UN's SDGs, we converted the factory into a design institute. And because of that, we won the award for being the best design and architecture campus, best institutional interiors design, and best institutional design by NDTV, Forbes, Indian Building Congress, and even by Great Place to Study. This just clearly goes to show that how, as designers, and especially designers in of the future, how it is so important for all of us to bring about the change in the world, or bring about the concept where the people can think of sustainability or can think deeper, because these are the people who are going to bring about the change. And just by this, we are being studied by a lot of interior and architecture colleges on how defunct places can be converted into useful or places that can function well. Some of the awards and recognitions which we have just recently added into our kitty, and I'd be very, very proud and happy to share with all of us here that it's not just an award and recognition for the Design Village. At the Milan Fest and at the Biodesign Challenge, TDV has not only represented or won an award from the Design Village, but we are the only institute from India and South Asia that, for in the first time in the history of Biodesign Challenge, which happened at the MoMA in New York, not only participated but won 2 awards. So it is about bringing value and bringing thing to India itself in the first place. So by Design Challenge, our team, and Sneha, I would really request you to later, or if you want, you can explain them now, that what it meant for us. It was a project which was called SPOIL, which is Sustainable Packaging for Oil. I'd request Sneha to please just tell about this before we move to the next slide. Sneha?
Right. Hi. So just a quick thing. And because Latika has already mentioned about how we concentrate a lot on the sustainability part of it and design, and this is the first time that we took part in Biodesign Challenge. And yeah, the whole thing that the team made was packaging for oil using oil byproducts. And if you actually go on our Instagram page, again, you can actually have a look at the complete project as well. I mean, I won't talk in detail about it, but I think, like how Latika is saying, it was a big overwhelming moment for us in general, because yeah, we kind of the first South Asian country to take part in it, and plus we won 2 awards. So it was a big deal for us in general.
And one of the outstanding instructors who won these was Sneha. So yes, and in the Milan Fest. So again, it's a very prestigious event where entries were called, and from 300 entries, 2 institutes from India got selected. One was Design Village, and the second one was from NID. From Design Village, our student Sachin represented the Design Village for a project, which I'll just talk about in the coming slides amongst the student projects. There was another project which made to it, but because of certain technical reasons was not displayed, was a student we are filing a patent for, who using the Braille technology made wove fabric for blind people, and just by touching that fabric through the Braille thing, they can tell what color tone they're wearing. So this again was a path-breaking thing, and the blind school in Italy was supposed to endorse it and take it forward, but yeah, maybe next time for that. Now, on a very simple thing, you've been hearing a lot of sessions where people have been talking of good things about everybody, and the design field in itself is a very new field. So when we talk to parents and when we meet the students, we realize that there are a lot of parents who feel that, ma'am, we don't know about this field, or that the child knows it because it is not amongst a very common field, but it's something which is really upcoming and offers very lucrative career options. I will not call it jobs at all, but very lucrative career and path breaking, life changing experiences for students. So why choose design, or why choose the design village? So let's just quickly run through this. First, we offer UGC approved design degrees. Yes, you've been hearing from the others as well that there are a lot of degrees which are there. But what a design degree means for you or for your child. First of all, if you wish to pursue your master's from any international university in design itself, you don't have to do any foundation course, you don't have to do any bridge course, but all your credits are transferred into the international university. The proof for that is our students who are pursuing their masters at different universities, at the Inhalt University, Jomas Academy, Lecole, other places, and even in India, the credits are fully transferable. Like students from fashion are doing international trade from Nasi Munji in Mumbai and other things. And what you as parents or as students need to also understand that when you do a design degree, you can set up your base. If you want to do your masters from NIFT NID, you can apply for any UPSC, IS, or any other kind of exams because it's a fully recognized design degree. The degree is by Sri Venkateswara University in UP. As I already mentioned, it's an award winning design campus. And when we say an award winning design campus, it is to bring about a thought process in every child or every villager to think of sustainability and to think about what opportunities or how they can explore even from the simplest of things. The concept of having an award winning design campus is okay, maybe it's here to flaunt, but yeah, otherwise it really means that the students understand what sustainability is, what it means to work around things, and how spaces have poetics or how spaces become your teacher. That's a very important concept that the students at the design village learn. The next bit is about our international semester and the workshops. So as I mentioned to you, our program, it's a 4-year design program where the first year is the foundation program, where all our students undergo a foundation program. We get students from all across different streams. We get students who are from a PCB background or a PCM background or from arts, from commerce or whatever. And a lot of them, you are lucky that you're enrolled at the design circle and you're learning the basics of design. But there are a lot of other students who also come back from or come from the typical design non-design backgrounds where they've not taken a formal coaching in design. So the first foundation semester builds the base for all students to understand design. There are concepts of the first semester. Sneha, would you like to just explain them on our first semester things?
So our first semester, in fact, for UG undergrad program, the whole year is basically where you're building your foundation. I know a lot of us come with our dreams as to what discipline you want to choose already. Sometimes the whole journey in the first year makes you realize that maybe what you dreamt of is what you exactly want, or you have new dreams that come up in that first year. And you taught basics of everything, because we imagine we start with the basic thing like unlearning, for that matter, where you're removing concepts and myths that you have in your mind, and you start your journey with that, and you end your first year with more dreams, honestly, and more vision of what you want to be in the 4 years at TDV. And for post-graduation program, it's more of the first semester, and then you start working with your particular discipline that you've chosen. So yeah.
And there are concepts of villaging where you learn about your fellow villagers, you learn from the local artisans, you learn the basics of everything. So thank you, Sneha, for that. And once the some first year foundation is done, the students have the choice of changing. If they thought they came for a particular silo, they can change after that. In the 7th semester, you have the international semester where all students as of now are going to France. And since we're a member of Cumulus, the opportunities in the coming time is about Italy, it could be Brazil, and even the Middle East. So we're working on different things where students get one complete international semester. So it's a full semester that you go there. Apart from that, we also have the opportunity of the summer and winter school, which happens every semester for 15 to 20 days. There's an exchange program with Boy Boucher. internships and projects. So TDV is like a conglomerate of 50 plus in-house brands, and what that means for the students. So again, I'll explain everything in the concept of what it means to you, because every person or a college representative, so to say, would put things in the way they want to put. But what it means for each of you as a learner is to understand what kind of industry internships and projects you almost have access to every day. At the Design Village, from the second year, you have 9 live industry kind of projects that you take up. And these projects help build the gap between what is taught and what is required in the industry. So when you are out there, actually, when you finished your course, you already have these 9 industry mentors that have taught you. And you also know what you've learned is what is being practiced in the industry. Sneha, nobody better than you to explain that.
If I may add to this, the point is that when you have clients and you have actual clients who come to you, we've got Red Fort coming to us almost thrice now. We have Kentaro, we have Belong. There are a range of clients who come to you. And by the end of it, you also have clients giving you feedback. And they honestly tell you if it is a project that's going to work or not work. And if it is a project that works, they actually take the project forward and they take you in and you work with them. So there have been cases where there has been an acceptance, there has been rejection as well. But honestly, you learn how industry functions, and you learn how to pitch, for that matter, how to design and how to actually make for others, and not just a hypothetical situation where you're sitting in your classroom and thinking, okay, I'm going to imagine someone actually using my product. So yeah, there's that for task boxes.
Yeah. And these task boxes also help you in the sense that
Somebody will
can we request you to put off you will get your chance to talk. So in these task boxes, suppose in a space and interior program, you're learning how to construct, you actually do a project where you learn, you do that while you're still in your project, so that you can come back with those learnings and also take it forward to your better understanding of the subject. So when you're out once after the 4 years, you're actually like 9 internships or 9 jobs, kind of a thing. You're more experienced than your other peers of the contemporary places. And when we talk of the internships and projects, these are just some of the in-house brands. When I move to the further slides, you see so many places which are being added to the list. So anything from Shades of India to Kaya to DFI, Yatra, CMYK, JCBL, the list is like long. We offer up to 100% scholarships for meritorious students. There are scholarships which are based on need also. And we do understand that at Design Village, money never comes in the path of a student who really wishes to pursue their careers. And especially post-COVID, we've been very generous with all our scholarships, because we do understand the impact that COVID has had on businesses, on people, their lives and everything. So there are a lot of attractive scholarships which are available for the students. The most beautiful part which I love about the Design Village is the student-teacher ratio. So unlike other colleges where you'd see, the Design Village, we only have a 1:10 or a 1:12 kind of a student-teacher ratio, which at a master's level even gets to 1:5 or 1:7. And what does this mean for you as a student? Design is something, as I explained to all my students, it's not a BA BCom where a teacher comes, just writes something on the class, you take notes, and okay, bye bye at the end of the day. Design is so much of hands-on experience, so much of things to do around your creative thinking process. Every student has his strengths, has his weaknesses, and each of our faculty member as a mentor guides every student. In fact, every student is asked to write a manifesto at the end of every year to see where you wanted to go, how you're mapping your journey, and has your manifesto changed over years, or is it something that you have sustained on? And with such kind of a student teacher ratio, we ensure that each of our student gets the individual attention that they need, which help them become better, responsible, and not only designers, but human beings and better people in general. So this is what it really helps us. We don't take too many students in a year. our annual intake is only about 100 for UG and maximum about 20 to 25 for PG. So that is the kind of thing. And for these students that we're taking, which is about 80 to 100 for UG, it is over the 7 silos or the specializations, what we say. So at the end of it, in each specialization, there's only about 15 to 20 students. So that makes your journey like an actually curated journey for each and every student. Sorry. We assure 100% placements, and for PG students, we even have a pre-placement letter. So the day you are selected in a PG program, you get a pre-placement letter, which assures you that at the end of 2 years, you know where you are. And again, a very simple concept at the Design Village is that we don't want people who are looking for jobs. We want students who are willing to give jobs. That's the difference, that we have. So many of our students get into entrepreneurship or social entrepreneurship, or they get into making their own projects, their own companies. We also have an option where in a year 5 projects are seed funded, where the students get investments or for their basic prototyping or other things. So these are the selected best which get it. But apart from that, we again, because the student teacher ratio is so less, because you have already interned with 9 companies or more during your stay, you don't even need a placement. You already have 9 people in the market who know you, who know your work, and they already are in the process of hiring you. And even your 8th semester, where you do your FDP, which is your final design project, it's like a mini internship or thesis. After that, so many people get into taking that only as their placement thing. The campus is based in Noida. So again, Delhi NCR based campus. And what it again means for you is that Delhi is the hub for industrial or for corporate sectors or for design based things. So being around the main hub area, it and in the industrial area in Noida, it really gives you a very close experience or very close details about how you will go ahead and do your internships and projects. The programs offered at the Design Village, we have undergrad programs, which is a 4-year design degree. So we have something called the Bachelor in Design. This is like a mixture of all the design programs: fashion and textile, graphic and communication, product, space and interior, interaction and UX, transport and mobility. For post-graduation, we have fashion and textile, graphics and communication, product design, space and interior, and MDes executive program. We'll just quickly run through all the programs. Sumit, I know I'm also keeping a tab on the time, but we'll quickly run through all the programs. So Sneha, I'll just run the slides for you. If you could just explain the students.
Right. Hi. Also, I think, Sumit, I think you've asked people if they have questions as well. So if you feel they're having questions even regarding this, you can let me know and I can actually clear it on the spot as well. Okay, cool. So this is basically about fashion and textiles. Now, the whole point is that this comes under basket courses. So we've, Latika spoken about taskbox and villaging. So I'm actually in charge for basket across all the disciplines. So they're all silo specific, discipline specific courses that we have. And in fashion and textiles, now we have something called making surface manifestation. Now, the point is that we have 50% of fashion and 50% of textile, but what we try to show is that how are each interdependent and how it is essential to kind of understand both to be able to grow and work together, right? And you'll have things which are from weaving, you'll have things which are about surfaces. So it's imagine creating a fabric. You can create a fabric, you can do things on the fabric and then create a garment beyond that. So it's the whole journey that you're able to see from scratch. And it's not just let me make a garment or let me just make the fabric. So this is more about how you have the courses in planned in fashion and textiles. You also have visual representation techniques where you create your own style of making things. And you also have you have like mini projects that happen on the way. So whenever you're doing a course, it's always where you start and end it so that you have finished work in your portfolio as well when you're kind of you start applying for your internship and beyond.
And on this as well, Sneha, if you can see on the left side, these are some of the things that a student who has done fashion and textile can get into in terms of the career prospects.
Yes, and we make sure that you are not fit in a box. Honestly, that's the whole point. You are not fit into, oh, you can only do fashion design and that means making apparel. You can end up being a visual merchandiser because that's what some of the people did their internship in. You could be a fashion stylist if you want to. It's absolutely up to you. Like how Latika mentioned that you also write your manifesto, right? You actually decide how you want your journey to be. We teach you certain things, but within even the course, you can decide what your journey can be. So if you're weaving, you can end up weaving glass if you want to, because that's what you want to do. You can weave a furniture if that's what you want to, or you could weave a fabric. It's absolutely up to you. The point is you decide how you want your journey to be, and you can enter any field irrespective of what you have learned, because you're creating your journey alongside. So yeah. Space and interior. Now, space and interior has, a mix of things. You have the subjectivity in a space, because people imagine that space is equal to let me put furniture and let me make walls. The whole point is it is there. That is important. But what about the experience part of it? Because you're doing it for the experience. You're doing it for someone entering that space and not just that space existing in isolation. So we kind of have you understanding about building a space, but we also have your understanding of what is the experience and how do you create an experience and intent that you have in mind in the space. And space is not, so you surprisingly, and this is something that one of the first year kids actually spoke to us. So let's talk about space in general, and let it not be interior, let it be exterior, let it be outerior, let it be everything around us. And true, that's exactly what we want people to envision as such. So that is what we have in space and interior. And you could literally end up being a planner, a city or a space, a museum planner, an exhibition person, or you could be a layout designer. You could also be an experience designer, even in space for that matter. Again, your journey, you can decide what you want. We have people who actually design sets and, kind of have this whole thing of, because they're interested in film, so they end up designing sets for that matter. So again, absolutely up to you, your journeys, and you can end up creating journeys.
From, even when we give an example, if you get a project, from understanding that if it's like a play school, what is the area around it, what needs to go. People think that interior space and interior is about how you'll color the walls or what kind of paint you'll use or textured or other things, but it's about poetics of space. It's about understanding the material, the properties, construction techniques, so many things that go with it. And again, a very sought after thing, because the kind of projects that the space and interior design students are doing, because of our founder, which is architect Saurabh Gupta, from city planning to working on Red Fort to Qutub Minar.
To even tourism, honestly, we even ended up doing one whole thing on Meghalaya and the whole tourism part of it. You actually ended up designing the whole city for the people as such. So,
and
also
from Amitabh Bachchan ji's house, now we're converting it into a museum in memory of Shri Harivansh Rai Bachchan ji. So a lot of things that goes here. It's about understanding the whole concept of space and interior. Could I move to the next one, Sneha?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Product design. Again, the point is that you think of product and you're like, okay, I'm going to make like one thing that people are going to use, and that's about it. But there's like literally every single aspect to it. Again, you start from scratch. What is the material that is going to be used to make something, and why do you think that's the best thing? From, the development process, what are you making, why are you making, to ergonomics for that matter, who is going to use it and why are they going to use it, in general. Every single aspect of it is necessary, even manufacturing process for that matter. And that is also something that a lot of people actually end up getting into, just the manufacturing part of it, or just the tools part of it, or the final product that you're using, or how is it going to be used. So you have a range of things that you can end up learning in that. And we actually have a lot of visits to the industry. So you can actually go and see as to how things function and why they function. So it's not just, again, in your space where you're sitting and you're like, okay, I'm going to imagine a product to be like that. So yeah, there's that as such. And you can, of
I
course,
have a question actually,
yes,
that in the product design of Design Village, do you also include jewelry in it?
Yes. So we include accessory design. The point is that, again, and if you actually look at the overlap, a lot of people will think, oh, accessory is in fashion. True that, it can be there as well, but it is still a product as such. So you can end up designing accessories in different way. There are people who want to design shoes for that matter, apart from even jewelry for that matter. So they end up doing that as well. But then again, sorry, yeah.
So ma'am, it's written that you have industrial design, furniture design, and product design.
Yes.
So it's the is the complete mixture of all these courses,
Yes,
or
exactly.
it's up to the student who have to decide that they have to get into the industrial side of product, or furniture, or product, or accessories.
So you are taught all three, for example. Now the point is that when you're taught that, right, when you're starting the basics, you decide as to how you want the journey to get into. I'll give you an example. If you like furniture design, but you're more inclined towards accessories, you start looking at furniture. Either you understand the technicalities and put it in the accessory design, or let's say there are a set of people right now, for example, who are doing miniature furniture. If you look at miniature, they're not actually functional furniture, right? But you can actually have, they're accessorizing a space and things like that. So you
And
still need to have an
projects
understanding.
Students are doing for IKEA. It's like amazingly
Yeah.
sweet project that they're doing in mini furniture.
All right.
Yeah.
Understood.
So I'll move to the next
Yeah,
slide.
yeah. Okay, graphics and communication. You start off with the basic thing. Now, if you look at graphics, right, a lot of people think of, oh, graphic design is equal to art, right? Because you're like, oh, I'm making poster. Now, basic understanding is there is a communication part of it involved, and that is what is the most important part in graphic design. It has to communicate. It cannot be a form of expression. And we start with that. We start with materials and medium, where you're like, oh, if I'm giving you a paper and a pencil, you would draw, you would start expressing yourself. How does it matter? How is it going to communicate? That's what we start off with. And then we have skill. So you have a range of courses in graphic design. You have typography, you have animation. So you're actually delving into multiple things. And then you can again decide how you want your journey to be. So there are people who are more interested in typography. So they kind of look at that and make sure their final design project is based on that. There are people who are interested in comic design, for that matter, comic book design. They end up doing that. And in fact, a lot of, there are times when people want to delve into, let's say, fashion. Sometimes they even do that. They're like, okay, from graphics, how do I kind of end up doing some project which is related to, let's say, garments, for that matter. So we've got a lot of different range of things that come out of it. You also have systems design that happens sometimes. So that's more of strategies and systems that you're planning in general for a space. App design, web development, you've got like a range of things. Again, something that we did in the Meghalaya project as well for Taskbox. And yeah.
So actually, we are actually running out of time. So the question we have for communication, I'll ask right now only.
Yes, perfect.
So first of all, the first question was that the fee structure will remain same for all the disciplines, right?
Yes.
And what will be the fee structure like?
So we're coming on that. The fee structure for a UG program is 18.5 lakh rupees for the 4-year program. This includes, there are no taxes, no hidden charges. This includes the tuition fee for your international semester. However, as I mentioned, there are up to 100% scholarships. All scholarships are based on merit. There are founders need-based scholarship as well.
All right, ma'am. So if a student is getting 100% scholarship, it will be for first year, or it's going to be for 4 years?
For the time being, based on their entrance exam, the scholarship is only for the first year. Based on their performance in the first year, it's for the second year. Top 20% students from the second year start getting the scholarships based on their performance. So it's not that it's something you have to earn. It's something that you have to work hard for.
We will come to the examination part, but before that, we have 3 questions on graphic and communication. First question is that, does the graphic and communication design has UI and UX in it?
That's a separate program, Sumit.
Yeah. So we have interaction design as a separate program as such, but you do, so user experience is something which you actually end up having in all the courses for that matter, but UI, user interface, is something that we have a separate program for, definitely.
All right. So in the course of, if we go back to the slide, the course of communication, graphics and communication, I can't see a fashion communication course in it. So does a student who will be, since you have a fashion design course, so I'm quite sure that your graphic and communication must be having photography and styling as well.
That all is a part of the big thing, Sumit. And, you know, fashion communication is one bit of communication. So you can definitely pick up courses, as Sneha mentioned, from fashion and take it further. Communication is basically, as again mentioned by Sneha, it's how you communicate your brand, your identity, your brand value, anything, your ideology, through visual ergonomics or through other things. So the concept, whether you pick up fashions in it, it could be part of that. We look at a bigger picture. Fashion communication, to be honest, was a boom when Commonwealth Games was happening. That was a time when the boom was there. But in the upcoming time, graphics and communication and interaction in UX are the highest paid career opportunities. In fact, for past 2 years, our students of graphic and communication have been bagging the highest placement packages of about 13.2 lakhs to 5 lakhs for this year as well. And that has gone for a graphics and communication student.
So can you please elaborate the difference between the communication design and interaction and UX design?
Okay, so if you look at certain courses, for example, that you have in graphic and communication only. So you've got things like animation, you've got like I said, typography, animation. You'll also have materials and mediums where you're understanding all of that. In interaction design, it's more about physical computing and creative coding. And you'll have courses which will kind of help you with the user interface part of it. And like I mentioned, what happens a lot of times is that it's easier for people to understand user interface and user experience together. But user experience is something, like I said, it's across all silos. Your courses structures are different. But then again, the thing is about TDV, you have one third of your curriculum is based on all your very silo specific courses. The remaining one third would be task boxes, which are client based. And also, just to add over here, the question that you had about fashion communication as well. What happens is when you get task boxes and you may get something about fashion communication, a graphic design student can also choose to have it. Even a user interface design student can decide, I want to take this task box because I want to explore this particular field as well. So they get an opportunity over there.
It means that the interaction design student can take communication in the minors, and the communication design student can also take interaction in the minors.
There is no, you can choose your task box. You can decide if you want an interior space for that matter as a task box. For a client, you want to work for that. You have absolute liberty and you're mentored irrespective of what your discipline is. So you can do that as well.
All right. So if a student is also willing for the filmmaking and advertising course, which course they should go for?
Okay, so depending on what filmmaking are we talking about, like I said, so there are different aspects to film as such. We don't have a specific discipline right now with film and video communication as such, but we have animation and film design, which is something which you are taught in graphic design as such. And you're also taught set building. So like I said, different parts of films that are there. Set building would be something that you're taught in space, interior and space design. So it's absolute, we don't have a hardcore, let's say, a course on filmmaking, but I think you must have realized when you came for Design Baitak as well, that this is something that they end up learning simultaneously if they want to, like an extra thing, and there are resources on campus who teach them as well.
Yes, well, one thing I want to tell you guys that like they have a brilliant program where a student also, like the student of Design Village, conduct and coordinate with among themselves and create a talk show, and it's all designed and done by the students. So you can check the YouTube page of the Design Village, and under that you can go to the playlist of the Design Baitak, and you will see how beautifully they have done. And these students are from second year, third year, and they have not been guided by the faculty. They're doing all on their own.
Even from the first year.
Yeah, you actually had Jugaad was also, they are not from film and video communication. You have a mix of different disciplines. It's just what you're passionate about. You do it, you want to do it. There are people to support you completely. So
yes, ma'am. We can move to the other course.
Yes. So then the next one we have is our transport and mobility, which I think amongst Delhi NCR, we're the only institute which is offering transport and mobility. And the most wonderful part, again, one of our founders, which is JCBL Group, is into mobility. They are the largest bus manufacturers in India and also make for the Indian Army. So Sneha, a little more about the courses.
Okay. I know we are running out of time, so I'm going to be very brief about this as well. The point about transportation and mobility, and why we've included mobility, is because we want people to understand what is the essence of transportation. It's not just car and vehicle. It's again about the experience, about the functionality, which is very, very important. So if you look at the courses, we've got human-machine interaction. So it's not the machine just going on its own. It's also the interaction of the human and the machine's interaction with the human for that matter. Vehicular packaging, which is more about the aesthetic and the overall value of what the vehicle is about. Form generation is how do you get inspired as to create what you're creating for that matter. surface modeling, vehicular history and norms, again, and very, very important thing for you to know. Material form and manufacturing, which is not just about the exteriors, but also the interiors. So we have a lot of CMF. We have people from the industry, again, for transportation and mobility, people who are working with Tatas, people who are working with like across the range of people who are coming and teaching you as to what is essential for you to end up being a transportation and mobility. Again, why it's essential to know mobility is because tomorrow, if you decide that you want to build escalators for that matter, you can still do it because it is still transporting, and we are making people kind of widen their perspective. It could be a vehicle to anything that makes one move, roller skates for that matter, anything that makes you move from one place to another. So yeah.
Over to next one.
Any questions?
I have a question for the transportation and mobility. Is that what kind of recruiters come for internship and the placement program, and does this course ensure that student can also get an international placement? Like the hub for transportation and automobile is obviously Germany and Italian countries. So are there also international opportunities for the student for the transportation and mobility, since you are the only one in Delhi who are teaching the course of transportation and automobile?
Latika, would you like me to?
Yes, sure, please.
Okay. So as Latika has already mentioned, regarding JCBL. So what happens is, and this has happened since for the past 2 years now, what's happened is that we are actually getting opportunities from there to work on projects, and we can actually go forward. Now, when it comes to international, we actually have our first batch that is reached the final year right now for transportation and mobility. The point is that, again, it's based on the projects that you do, and because we have finished projects, you can actually go ahead and pitch it to different places that you want to. Your projects would be up to the mark for you to be able to pitch. And I can say, so I've actually studied from NID, and I have a few of my NID batchmates who actually come and teach as well. And the thing is that, again, the whole point is, what do you pitch and how do you pitch? Also, how do you stand out from, even for that matter, NID, how do you stand out when it comes to what work you have? And that's why we make sure that we have an overall thing and not just someone sketching cars. And that's exactly what is taught in a lot of colleges, where you just kind of sketch and keep sketching. But we're trying to have that complete thing. Again, completely also depends on you, how you want to pitch yourself and how you want to go forward. Opportunities,
So,
of
again,
course,
on this, there are a lot of opportunities for the students.
Absolutely.
As of now, we don't have international ones, but I'm sure because of COVID, for 1.5 years, there has not been much of an international exchange. Everything has been happening online, whether it's faculty or in exchange programs. But in the coming time, like other students are getting, the transport and mobility students would also get international opportunities.
I've just got one question from student, is that like you have said that they can select anything in minors, like their own thing. So if a student is doing a product design course, they can still select something from transportation design in the minor subjects also.
You're talking about, when you say minors, are you talking about like those client-based projects? Are you talking about the task boxes?
So what you said, like the
task boxes.
It's in the task boxes.
Task boxes. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And we do have people who do that. You can actually see
fact, to add to that, to Sneha and Sumit, TDV has an interdisciplinary design approach, which sets us apart from the other run-of-the-mill things. A designer is a designer. And that's what we feel at the Design Village. They can design a transport, the way of mobility, to a dress, to a garment, to shoe, to lifestyle accessories, to life through design. I think that is what makes us very different from the others.
So ma'am, we can move to another because we have 15 minutes. Because a lot of students have class at 9 p.m. So we will just move because we have to talk about the entrance exam as well.
Sure. So these are quick glimpses of our international semester. Not much to talk about. We've already explained to the students that every student gets the opportunity to go and do their international semester in France as of now, and which I told you could be different countries in the coming time. So these are just some of the glimpses of the work, the experience that they get there. And at that point of time, there are students from 30 countries who are there in France at the same time. So you not just learn about your particular course, but about how different nations or how things at different countries work. So this was a picture from our Boy Boucher, where in our summer school, where we built a pavilion and, which represents India. So it was the India pavilion at Boy Boucher. Again, with our international faculty members, and very proud moments for our students who come back wiser, and it's a beautiful experience for all of them. So these are the scholarships which we were mentioning. we have our TDV entrance-based scholarships from anything from 100% to a 25%. And as I mentioned to you that, especially in COVID times, we're very generous with the scholarships. We have different kind of scholarships for siblings, defense, single parent, and founder scholarship, which is a need-based scholarship. Do I move to the next one, Sumit?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
So the eligibility criteria for undergrad, the minimum eligibility is 50% in 12th, because for design, it's not how good you're in maths, English, or whatever. It's about your ability or your thinking skills or your ways of doing things. So we have an entrance exam in which there's a situation test. And maybe Sumit can tell you on that.
I want to add a point here that Design Village conducts one of the most toughest examination. And we always say that if you clear the exam of Design Village, you have a good chance of clearing an idea as well. So even I feel your paper very tough to explain to my students. So yes, it's one of the very challenging papers we have seen in the last 5-6 years.
Because we don't ask anything that's available on Google. There are no multiple choice questions. There are no aptitude questions. We want to understand your thinking process. And that is what is judged. And that is where we see what interpretation you can have for a particular situation or how you would take a stand. Because tomorrow when you are a successful designer or you graduate from here, how you can take a stand in the world. And that is the most important thing. So yes, the students, there's a situation test which is given, which is not at all like NIFT and ideas as Sumit mentioned. And there's a personal interaction round, which we say. And the students also submit their design portfolios at the time of the interview.
All right. So ma'am, in the portfolio,
yes.
So when they have the interview in the portfolio, what do you want to see? You want to see the artworks, you want to see the extracurricular, you want to see that what student can do in the Design Village as a human and not as a particular designer. So what do you expect and how many sheets of or how many pages or how many slides you want to want the student
so
to
we
show?
are not that particular about the number of pages, and I can see Sneha laughing on that.
Right.
It's about what best foot you want to put forward, how best you can represent yourself. And I'm spilling the beans here, but people who say in the first place that they want to be typical fashion designers and make lehengas and lachas, that doesn't work for TDV. It has to be your thinking process, and that's why the entrance process is little different. It's little
I remember 3 years back, one student just went with an idea and nothing in the portfolio, and he got 100% scholarship just because he has an outstanding idea and
Correct.
he wants to do something. So yes, so with portfolio, you mean to say that your vision and your ideas and not the artworks on the sheet, right?
Exactly. That's not important.
And also, it's not we're not expecting you to be designers before you enter, because if you are designers, then you don't need to have education in design at all. You're already out there. You can go to the world. The whole point is we want to know who you are. So if you love music for that matter, and I've had the most entertaining set of interviews ever, where I've had like pets coming and sitting and then talking with me for that matter, or people playing music. And it's just be yourself and be who you are and who you want us to know. Also, it's very important for us to know that you have an open mind, because it's, we don't have anything against people who think they want to make lehenga. I'll tell you what the problem. I'll tell you. The thing is that we have a thing with, you won't be open to anything new, which will kind of make your 4 years a struggle. And we don't want you to struggle, honestly. Like, that's the whole thing. We don't have anything against anyone. We don't want you to struggle. And you just be yourself, have an open mind, and show that you have an open mind to learn. So, yeah.
And yes, I can say that I have 6 students who have got 100% scholarship in 2019, and they were like studying free of cost in the first year in 2019. So I was also amazed that out of 9 admissions, I gave you 6 are studying for free. So yes,
again, as I told you, Sumit, for TDV, thanks to our founders who've been so generous, money is never a constraint for student who deserves it. And that's what we really believe in. It's not just for papers. We really believe in that. There are scholarships up to 75 lakhs, which are on offer every year. And a lot of meritorious students and even need-based scholarships are offered to students.
मैम पहले बच्चों को पास तो करो, आप पास ही नहीं करते हो.
राइट सर, मतलब जो पास होंगे स्कॉलरशिप मिलेंगे. आपके स्टूडेंट्स अच्छे हैं, इसमें कोई वो नहीं. Can we move to the next one?
क्या अभी आप बोल रहे हो, बाद में आप फेल कर देते हो, बोलते हो कि नहीं इसके आप पहले पास करना शुरू करो.
ठीक है, sure.
Anyway, so it's going to be a tough examination, guys. Yes, ma'am. I have a couple of other questions as well
Yes.
regarding the entrance examination.
Sure.
That the entrance examination will be only creativity or the general ability test as well, like an ID, and if that maths, English, GK also, or it will be complete design-oriented paper.
Yes. So as I mentioned to you already, we don't want to know anything that is available on Google. Guys, you can Google it. We don't want to know. There's not, we are not asking you anything on maths, general aptitude, who's the prime minister. No, it's based on TDV's 4 pillars, which I mentioned in the beginning: awareness, perseverance, compassion, and courage. Through the situations we give you also, we want to just see that how you stand on those 4 pillars and how you can take a stand. Sneha, you wanted to add something.
Also, just so you know, if you do end up having a question on general knowledge, basically we will see how creative you are when you don't know the answer. We'll be kind of looking out for that. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So, all right. So, the entrance examination happens it starts in December. It has
November.
multiple cycles. I don't know about this year. Since this year they have their board examination as well in the month of November.
Okay.
So I don't know when you will be conducting the exam. Yes, but the forms will be available at Design Circle from 1st of October. So you can get the forms from us. Now, one more thing is that while filling up the form, you have to be very, very, very particular that how your handwriting is, because I know that TDV checks everything and they see that you have filled the form or your parents have filled the form.
So we check that through the statement of purpose. Again, the concept of checking the statement of purpose is to actually see that what you really want from us or what we really want from you. That again, the concept that I talked of is that why we just take about 100 students in the UG program, because our purpose in life should match what you are expecting from a design college and what we are expecting that after you graduate and after 4 years, what you're taking to the market should match. You have to stand apart from the run of the mill other graduates or from the design, and that is what will set you separate. We'll start from the initial selection process itself.
All right, ma'am. I'll be also needing a couple of sample papers because a lot of students have already started asking me, sir, paper to dikha do. So I'll share the paper with them anyway. So
that's because you cared them so much.
it's scary. I mean, I get it from parents that a student is not clearing the examination. What kind of preparation you are doing it? So yes, we are also like very particular that we tell the student that it's not going to be an easy paper. It's going to be a challenging paper. And definitely it's not only about clearing the entrance exam, it's also about that how you have attempted the paper. No matter you have attempted only one question, but then you have to show the potential in you. It's fine that you don't attempt the 100 out of 100, but even if you're attempting one question, that make sure that the examiner likes it and understand the innovator inside you.
Right. So we'll just move quickly to the next slide, which is, I'll just show you a few student projects. So these are very renowned projects that the students have done. Sneha, what should I take it forward, or would you just like to go?
Yeah, so I'll just tell you the client. So these are like self-initiated projects as well that have come. So this one, for this particular case, it was Menaka Gandhi that they actually worked for, and they created a cattery for a set of shelter cats that they had in general. So this was a master's student who just kind of joined, and it was open for a lot of people. Again, you can choose, you can decide that you want to be a part of the project, and you can be a part of the project. So yeah. This is Sachin, so the Salone exhibition that we have, and this is one of the students again from Masters who kind of worked with, he's from fashion and textiles, and he's started his own thing where he's working with artisans, with different craft people around the country for that matter, and creating rugs and carpets and jackets and things like that from various kind of waste. So this is salvage that is left over from textile industry, and he's working with that. His is one of the projects that was selected to, and it's actually out there right now in the exhibition as well.
I have 3 very important questions. So once you finish the slide, I'll go through it because we are left.
You can ask me.
Yeah, so the first question is that the student is going for the international program, as Latika Maam has said, that the international fees is already been taken in this. So the student, all they need to do is to take the expense of their living and other thing, and not the fees.
So they travel and they stay in accommodation there. But since a batch goes together and they stay together and are together, the costs are really reduced. It comes from anything between 2.5 lakh to 4 lakh rupees for the complete semester for 5 months. And when I'm saying this, it's like from their insurance to tickets to water, food, local traveling, everything included.
All right. A student can also complete the 4 years completely in the design village.
Yes,
Yes.
they can do that also. In that
It's
case,
happening right
again,
now.
they get a discount of ₹1,00,000 if they do the complete and they don't go for the international semester. But the experience is something that the students should not miss.
So if a student who also cannot afford the 6 months, they have the program of summer and winter exchange
Yes.
program that is for 15 to 20 days, which is
15 to
much cheaper in the cost.
Exactly.
All right. The third question which I have is that since there are so much of technical courses, like you have shown the communication, interaction, all kind of technical, and fashion came out of it. So how much importance a fashion student will get in the design village? This is student question by student, not by me. I
Right.
have
So it's very interesting because again, this is something that we imagine that fashion is not technical, that you don't require technical knowledge, and that is not true. So when you're saying technical, if you're saying computer, then that's another thing, but you do still work on computer when you are in fashion, when you're doing a fashion and textile course as well. But there is technical knowledge involved, and it's not just I'm going to make something look pretty. And we are very particular about that. We are very particular about the functionality of things, and if they don't function, they're not design, they're art, and we keep it aside and we make sure that everyone understands that part. So every discipline has its own technical aspect to it, and it is something that we make sure we are imparting before you add on to the aesthetic value for anything. Does that answer the question, Sumit?
Ma'am, I have seen the campus and it's an amazing campus. So I know about it, about the student. Yes,
But
student,
the
if you
students who want to know,
yeah,
there is a fully set functional fashion lab with different kind of machineries there. You can still make garments, you can do garment manifestation and everything. Why this particular project also got selected, and what we also feel, if you don't know, garments or your fabrics is the second largest waste producer in the world after plastic. Your landfills are full of these things. So that is why the concept is not just making something again, it's about trying to reuse. And guys, you should check out Sneha's page as well. She makes or she weaves things from anything and everything, and has been covered in media and by other. Sorry sir.
So he's asking what my page name is. I'll just type it out. It's basically my personal page, although I'm not like, I don't promote as such except for these
But
guys.
otherwise, she's been featured in
to see.
media.
I myself
Absolutely.
I myself is a textile designer from NIF New Delhi, so I also keep on checking the things. One last question, very important question is that it's not a question. You must visit Design Village. It's not a campus; it's a museum. You can see, you can check that how they have beautifully they have converted the complete campus from an industrial, like it has been sealed long time back, and now they have reopened it, and you won't feel that. You will get a feel, and at the same time you won't get a feel that it's a factory, but at the same time you will feel the history of that factory also.
It has heritage attached to it, Sumit, I think, and that's the most beautiful part. So I'll just quickly run through the other projects because the students love this particular project. This is the stationery collection.
So all the students, if you have any class at 9 o'clock, you can leave. Other student can stay.
Sure. So this is the project that the students have done for the House of Bachchans, and it is called From Sand to Gold Dust, because it was made by mixing the sand from Allahabad, where the Bachchans belong, and that was mixed into the paper, and that is what made the paper. So from what kind of font to what would go with the aura to everything, the students designed this project for Shri Amitabh Bachchan. This is the personal stationery that he uses. I'll move to the next project. So these are the glimpses of the same project. You can check it on our website. The students project which they did for the tourism of Meghalaya. Again, for that, the CM of Meghalaya visited the design village, and he loved the project so much that he asked the students to make this whole project on Meghalaya, on how the tourism can be attracted to it, from interaction to fashion to every student. There are different projects that the students are doing in it. Yeah. We are glad to share that TDV was featured by one of the oldest architecture and design magazines on rethinking design education. A&D magazine, it's about 30 years old, and it's one of the oldest magazines, and featured us on their cover just recently. Then again, Higher Education magazine, which covered TDV in their cover story for bigger design institute that can impact lives through design. And these are some of the internships and placements which are just adding every day. New companies, new places are being added. So this is where you get your hands dirty by actually working in the industry and getting the right essence of how you would be in your future. Some internships and placements of our students. Yeah, that's about it. So guys, you can please feel free to ask whatever you wish to.
All the
I
students,
personally like to stay on
when
this
can
side.
they visit the campus, and what are the timings and duration when they can visit the offline campus?
Sure. So the campus is open Monday to Saturday from 9. Otherwise, the classes start at 8:30. But you can visit anytime from 9 to 7, and you can come to the campus. You just need to take a prior appointment. You can tell Sumit sir, and we can arrange a campus tour for you as well.
All right, ma'am. I think you have answered almost all the question. Yes, the biggest mystery for the students still remains the entrance examination. I think I've scared them a little much, but yes, kindly share the sample papers with me. I'll show them the sample papers. And also a couple of students have asked me, can we have really brilliant ideas whom I can show my ideas that it can be incorporated in the portfolio or not. So I'll take the thing that students want to get their portfolio evaluated before the examination. So is there any provision that they can send you the portfolio and you can give the approval?
Sure, we can do that. Though
Because
that's a little cheating for the others, but yeah, maybe we can just see. But I think guys, you
Honestly,
have to be, yeah, sorry, Sumit.
honestly, I feel like don't worry if people are going to like or not like, because it's who you are. It's an extension of who you are. The moment, for example, let's say you send it to me and I tell you, oh, okay, and if I tell you something, then it'll be an extension of you plus me in that work, and we just want to know who you are. Don't think that we are expecting you to be fantastic, again, like I said, fantastic designers or draw people who draw well. We're not thinking. We just want to see your vision, and your vision could be just, you could have made just one line in your portfolio and come and be like, you tell me a story about that and we'll be more than happy. Honestly, that's how it is. Just be yourself. Do not compare yourself with others also, because I know that's also something that you would do. Don't do that. Just be yourself, and it's absolutely fine if you know things, if you don't know things. And honesty, by the way, goes a long way with us. We are super happy when someone is very honest with us. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, Sneha ma'am. Thank you so much, Latika ma'am. And thank you guys for staying till 9 p.m. And if you have any question, you are most welcome to ask me. I'll forward your question to ma'am. And if you want to visit the campus, no, ma'am has said that you can take a prior appointment. You can call me up and I'll fix up your campus tour also. Thank you. Good night once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.
Thank